Hold on, Teneshia got me tongue tied. All right, then. Welcome back to the Honorated Profession. You know who it is, your boy Maestro, aka the Great, aka the hands are ordained by the Barber gods.
My name is William Graham, aka Big Fundamentals, and we are here at MLB 2025, Raleigh, North Carolina. So we want to make sure we give a shout out to our location. So before we get started, we got a special guest.
Yes,
I've met this young lady last night for the pre-event for MLB. It was over at the Barber shop in Raleigh.
Oh, she was there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was hanging out, which I don't normally do.
Yeah. Look, I don't hang out that either, so we out here.
We out here.
Good call.
Okay.
Right?
And so first, I almost didn't come in. I'm like, this is not what I thought this was. But actually, it turned out to be really good. I met some really good people.
Nice.
Grounded people.
Nice.
Well, hold on. Go introduce yourself and tell them what you got going on.
What you got going on?
Yeah. So I am Teneshia LaFaye, also known as MzMoneyWorks. That's MzMoneyWorks on social media. So on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So I teach financial literacy because I wanted to know financial literacy growing up. When I was coming out of the University of Florida, go Gators. And so I was trying to know, I'm about to graduate in about 7 months. What do I do with my money? So the business editor at the newspaper that I was interning at the time, he's like, I wish I was thinking like you when I was your age, 21 years old. He's like, read Money Magazine. That didn't really help me. And so I then got married to the father of my kid, and then we ended up having another kid. But anyway, his mother worked at a bank. And so she taught him some things, and he taught me things, but it was things we should not be doing. God rest her soul. She died 3 years ago. Very good woman. She loved her family, but we shouldn't have been doing cash advances. We shouldn't have been doing check kiting, you know? And those were things we shouldn't be doing. So once I figured it out, like what I should be doing with my money, I then taught my sons.
Right.
And so now my 32-year-old son that I had in high school is now almost a millionaire at 32 years old.
Did y'all hear that?
So he's almost a millionaire. He's a tither. He's a philanthropist. He's a great husband, great father. So yeah.
So did you know about financial literacy? Like before you met your first, so let me give you an example. Like I was telling my mama, I definitely didn't have no financial literacy, period, whatsoever, right? So if my mom growing up don't know about credit, she can't teach me about credit, right? And it ain't her fault, because I used to think it was her fault. Right. But her parents didn't know about credit, which is her dad. My grandfather had to quit school in the 3rd grade and help his father on the farm. You know what I mean? So if he didn't know about credit, how could he teach my mama about credit? Right. And then how can my mama teach me? Right. So my question is, like, did you know that beforehand, a little bit beforehand, or did you learn it all when you met your
No. Okay. So basically, you know, in college, back in the 90s, there were the credit card companies.
Around Hampton, yes, me too.
So Sharon Lecter, she's the ghostwriter of all the Rich Dad, Poor Dad books. She didn't like that. So she whispered to different Congress people. And so she got an act passed that got the credit card companies off college campuses. But that was after I already graduated. And so, no, I got into the credit card trap where you get a credit card with a $300 credit limit. But before you even charge it, you already have a $150 balance because they have processing fees and all that. So then you charge it, so now you're over the limit. So so I had messed up credit, and then so I wanted to get a house in my early 30s, and so I had to fix my credit to get the house. And so what I did was, by then my oldest son was 15, and then he moved out 4 years later, and he wanted me to co-sign a car with him. And so I'm like, well, it didn't help me, my grandfather helping me buy 4 or 5 brand new cars. It didn't help my credit throughout my teens and 20s. So I'm like, let me show you how to build your credit now that I know how in my 30s.
Okay.
So before he moved out at 19 and a half, instead of co-signing a car with him, I said, let me show you how to build your credit. So he's had excellent credit since he was like 20 years old, and now he's 32.
So those some of the things that you teach when you're doing this, like how to build your credit? Are those some of the things that you teach? Like, what are some of the things that you teach?
Very good question. So we teach time value of money. Like the earlier you start, the more the money has time to double. So that's why if you have children or grandchildren, start with them early, because they got like 60 years before they retire, or 50 years. That money with the right interest rate can be compounded. So I teach that. I teach on compound interest, simple interest. I teach rule of 72. I teach the snowball effect of getting out of debt. I teach
And
about having.
we said the name of the business, right?
Oh, I'm MzMoneyWorks. That's MzMoneyWorks.
Okay.
But I'm part of a company by the name of WealthWave. And so, you know, our company has different books. So How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker's been out for 6 years now. Then we came up with How Money Works for Women, with Sharon Lecter from the Rich Dad Poor Dad books wrote this for women. And then we just,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and then we have the next generation. This just came out for the next generation. This is the book that I needed when I was coming out of college. But guess what? It's not about just knowledge. You have to actually take action. So I am the person that I wish I had when I was coming out of college. I am now the person that can teach these young people.
Tanisha, I've been saying all day. I've been saying like all year. Like, knowledge is only power when it's applied. You know what I mean? So the knowledge that you learn, if you do not apply it, then it's not knowledge. It's nothing really at all.
Goes in 1 year out the other.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm so glad that you said that.
Yeah,
But carry on, though. But carry on.
And also, we sit down and help with the 7 money milestones. And most people think to meet with a financial advisor, it costs money. No, we don't charge a fee. And I'm actually a fiduciary. So I have to look out for the best interests of my clients. So anyway.
Hold on. Explain what fiduciary is, because some of the people that be listening to us now, and they ain't on, you know what I mean? What fiduciary?
Fiduciary is like the Hippocratic oath for a doctor. A doctor should do no harm and, you know, do the best to save the patient's life. And so being a fiduciary, financial fiduciary, means we have to look out for the client's best interest, not our best interest. So for instance, I had 2 cops that came to my office last week and they had guns, so I had to do right. No, I'm saying.
No, you did.
No,
Yeah, you did.
they wouldn't have known. They don't know anything about money. And so I was looking at his finances and I'm like, you're about to retire next summer. You should just keep your money with the police force because they're giving you 8.5% guaranteed for 30 years plus COLA.
Is that good? 8.5%?
Banks don't even give you 1% unless they lock it up for a few years. And then it's what, 3 or 4?
And the banks give you, the regular financial institution, they give you almost less than a percent.
Oh no, they definitely give you less. They give you like 0.03. But I told them I actually make a lot of money if you take it out of your pension and let me show you how to invest it. I actually make a lot of money.
Okay.
But what's in your best interest, just to keep it there. We need to just leave it there. And so, because I'm a fiduciary, I can't do something that's not.
You gotta take care of your client,
or I'll be in jail. And so you know, so I don't want to be in jail. So plus, I mean, the whole reason I'm doing this is to help people.
Right.
Because when I was a journalist, I was actually a journalist in my 20s. And so I found out there was no pension. And then Social Security be bankrupt by the time I'm 58 in 2035. So I'm like, dang, no pension? I was going to be doing this for 30 years. So no pension, no Social Security. And most people retire poor. 95% of us retire poor. I'm like, I got to do something different. So yeah, so I started doing health insurance and Medicare. And so I started seeing the profits. People in their 60s and working and poor. This 93-year-old man came up to me one time. He said, I'm 93 years old. I did not expect to live this long. Everyone I know is dead and I've run out of money. Wow. That man was so desperate. He was a veteran. Wow. And I'm like,
he was a veteran.
That's the prophecy that I read about in my 20s that most people wrote. And I've read a recent statistic that 9 out of 10 of us, by the time we retire, are going to live below our current standard of living. So how you living right now, you're going to live below it when you start working. 9 out of 10 of us.
Wow.
I'm that 10 one. I ain't.
So you're going to be in that 1%?
I'm going to be in that 1%.
So here in the podcast, right.
What are you doing?
So here in our podcast,
we
like to ask questions on behalf of our students, right? Yes. So one thing that my students love about me, I tag our school as we like to say we're the very first business school of Barber. We want to teach you not only how to cut your hair, but how to run a good business.
Wow, that's good.
Right. And so we're fortunate because we are at the community college, so we do have access to our small business and things of that nature. But because I don't want them to have our same some of the same pitfalls that we had. Right.
Amen.
Right. So questions on behalf of our students. A couple quick questions. I know your time. I know you say you're about to pack.
Yeah, I gotta go.
So we're gonna hold you too long. So for a student, as they get ready to come out, what would be a financial tip? Maybe 3 tips you would give a student if you feel like it's more, just get ready to get out of barber school or hair school, what would be some financial tips you would give them first getting started?
Wow, no warning about this?
I know, no warnings about this.
Because I was about to say we have 7 money milestones. Okay. So I mean, we feel that if they complete the 7 money milestones, they'll be financially secure. But I'll answer your question. They need to learn how to pay themselves first, because you don't work just to give away all your money for like food and shoes and vacation. You're just giving away all your money, then you have no money. So the first thing you need to do is learn how to pay yourself first.
Right.
Also, as far as credit, you should have good credit, so pay on time. Don't get into a bunch of debt. So pay attention to your debt. Get out of debt as soon as possible, because the debt is working against you. It usually doubles based on your interest rate in 2.5 to 4.5 years. So if you got a student loan of $25,000, it ends up being 50 and then 100, because you keep deferring, and it keeps compounding and doubling and doubling. So yeah. So number 1, pay yourself first. Number 2, hurry up and get out of debt. And number 3, start planning for retirement as soon as possible, because like if you start at like 20 years old, you only need to save like $120 a month in an account that averages 9%, and you'll have $1 million. So every 5 years that you wait to start saving for retirement, you have to pay almost double. So yeah, so those are the 3 tips.
So what would you say on, you mentioned about building credit, what would be, I guess piggybacking that, what tips would you give a student on how to build credit, and what advice would you give on credit building? So
as far as my oldest son, what I told him when I would not co-sign for the car was go to the credit union and get a secured card. So you got a secured card, and you put a little bit on it.
You got to put the money. You got to put some money on the secured card yourself first, right?
Right.
I just want to get the people clear.
Right. So he got like a $300 or $500 card. So what that means is he had to give the bank $300 to $500 that they would put in escrow for him to have his own secured credit card.
Right.
And so then I showed him to just charge a little bit and pay it off every month. So within 6 months to a year, they gave him a real card. And then ever since, they've been increasing the credit line. So now he's got like a $50,000 card with him. So yeah, so the first thing is get a secured card. Also, it would help if you got like a little furniture account, not a big one, because when I got out of college, I fully furnished my apartment. And they said no payments, no interest for 3 years. So I made no payments for 3 years. And my mother, the beautician, the cosmetologist, the beauty shop owner, she's like,
your mom was a beauty. Okay.
18. So when she was 18 with me in her belly, she got her cosmetology license. She opened up her own salon when she was 23 years old. And then she retired when she was 58 years old. But yeah, she's like, child, you better make some payments. I'm like, what does she know? She never dealt with credit.
Right.
So I wish I would listen to her. Because after those 3 years, they made me pay back all the interest. So I ended up owing 3 times the money, plus it ruined my credit because I wasn't making payments for 36 months. You're supposed to at least make payments, but the advertisement said no payments. No, they said no payments, no interest. So I was listening to them, not my mom.
Wow. So, okay, to piggyback off of that, just to go a little deeper, all right, 7 person coming out of barber school, right? A youngin coming out of barber school. Their mom done use their name on some stuff.
God.
Hold on, got their credit messed up. Like, boom, right? They get an LLC because now they're a barber now, so they their own business now. Like, is it different for them to build a credit? Is it harder for them to build a credit by themselves, or is it better to build a credit with the LLC that they got?
To be honest, that is not my lane. Business credit is not my lane.
Okay.
I don't talk about stuff that is not my lane. If I don't know, I don't know.
That's good.
I'm not gonna try to finesse it.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you though. Okay. Well, with this then,
I'm a personal finance expert.
Alright, so in your classes, when you're teaching, what are your main things that you focus on in your classes, and what kind of people take your classes?
Yeah, so people that are either just starting out, or people that have made mistakes and want to fix them, or people that are about to retire and they're freaking out like, I'm about to retire. So lately I've been meeting a lot of people in their late 50s, early 60s. that now they're ready to get serious about their retirement. But if you get serious when you're younger, you can be like my son, a millionaire in his 30s.
But he had you. He had you.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us didn't have you, or didn't have anything like. Cause I know I didn't have, but I done got my stuff straight now. I wish I had you.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wish I had you.
So now I am for your students who I wish that I had. Because I was asking when I was 21 coming out of college. It was summer of 97. Like I'm about to graduate May of 98. What do? I'm about to go in the real world. I got a kid.
Right.
I need to, my life is getting serious.
Right.
Read a magazine.
So now we talked about credit. We talked about finding some tips on getting out financial tips. What got any saving tips you give? Somebody who's getting out, just getting started.
So remember, pay yourself first.
Pay yourself first.
And then number 2, put your money in the right accounts that will actually give you good interest.
Can you speak? I want to speak on that too.
Yeah, of course. So there's a concept called the rule of 72.
I heard of that.
So 72 divided by the interest rate you're getting tells you when your balance doubles. So usually, like you said, banks give you not even a tenth of 1%.
Right.
They give you like 0.01. The biggest bank in America is Chase. And they give 0.01%. So what does that mean? They give you a penny for every 1,000 that you put in there.
That's crazy.
So like I know this young woman, now she's in her early 30s. I met with her when she was in her late 20s. And she said that she was getting a dime every month.
Right.
And I was like, oh, so what did I say? I said you must be at Chase or Truist.
Right.
Because they give you and I said you must have 10,000 in there.
Right.
I said you must have 10,000 in there.
Up to having
But you only get a dime every month.
every 1,000.
Yeah. And she's like, how'd you know?
That's crazy.
So I moved her to an account where she was getting 5%, but now it's based on like what the Federal Reserve gives, the Fed funds rate. So now as the Federal Reserve lowers their rates, it actually lowers that rate. So now that account is only 3.75%. But we also do investment savings accounts that average 7%, and the longer you have it, it averages more and more. Like I've had mine for 3.5 years, so mine is averaging like 11.4, 11.6, and it's currently at 29. So it's currently at 29, but it's averaging 11. And I've only had it for 3.5 years because I wasn't practicing what I preach. Right. But when my youngest son took not my oldest, my youngest son took his money out of the credit union because they were having problems with the app for months, and you couldn't see your balance unless you went to the bank.
Right.
So he's like, I'm sick of them. So he took his money out and put it in the bank. I'm like, you just went from 0.10 to 0.03.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to move my money too into the accounts that I set up for people.
Right.
I need to practice what I preach. So that's why I've only had it for 3.5 years. I didn't start practicing what I preach as far as putting your savings in the right accounts until I couldn't see my money. And even then I didn't do it. It was with my son. I'm sick of him. I took his money. I'm like, I should do that too.
So when you say those accounts, what about what's your opinions and your thoughts of your experience? We start thinking about like cash management accounts and things of that nature. What are your thoughts and opinions of like
cash management accounts?
Like cash investment accounts, stuff like that, like the Fidelities and money market accounts,
mutual funds.
money market accounts, different CDs.
Because money market accounts and CDs, that's you just threw a bunch at me.
Yeah.
So like a money market account.
I don't have my questions in front of me, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm just throwing stuff off the top.
A money market account might give you like 1, 2, or 3%, and you can get it from a bank or from a Fidelity or from a Robinhood.
Yep.
And again, that's based on the Fed fund rate.
Right.
And then as far as stocks, you can get that with Webull or Robinhood, and you need to do your research.
Right.
And it's And if if people already are talking about the company, more than likely you're gonna buy high. You need to do your research and buy low. So I love that my oldest son, he's done his research. I taught him stocks, he's 10. Right. But he surpassed me with stocks. Okay. Stocks is not my forte. I'm telling you,
What's up? They need to do their what?
They need to do their research.
Research, y'all.
But he's done the research for you. So he's got a website called lazyinvestor.ai.
Lazyinvestor.ai.
And so it tells you like the 1,000 companies that are in the buy zone. The buy zone means that they're in their low.
Right.
They're in their 5-year low.
Right.
So if you see a company like, Tesla, and it's at 300, but the buy zone, the 5-year low is $98. Wait till it goes to 98. But anyway, he tells you the companies that are in their low, their buy zone. So if those are, if any of those companies are companies you're interested in, those are the companies that you should buy.
Well, the business of barbering is never that sexy, but it is the most important part for y'all. I know a lot of times y'all want to talk about hair cutting in here, about all the hair stories, but guess what? In order to have a business, you gotta have in order to have a business department, you gotta have your business right? So I just want to make that clear because sometimes they don't really hair cutting interviews, but you don't realize that if you ain't got your business right, you're not gonna be cutting that long anyway, right?
And I mean, they work hard for their money, and they should just be blowing it because that one night, that last time that they cut hair, they could get in a bad car accident and be paralyzed. Right. Or they could fall out and have a stroke. Or they can have an ache and then find out that it's cancer. And now they thought that they were about to make that money. They just blew back and they didn't. So you have to have, you got to pay yourself. And you also need to have insurance. Because if you don't have insurance, you're going to spend your money instead of the multi-billion-dollar insurance company's money. So you need to spend their